Hello, you guys, and welcome to my live, you guys. Pressure to Diamonds. It's a transformational podcast hosted by myself, Cenequa Nikkole, where real life struggles are turned into strength, purpose, and power. This show dives into the authentic conversations about growth, healing, mindset, relationships, and becoming the best version of yourself, especially through life's toughest moments. Every episode is designed to remind you that pressure isn't meant to break you. It's shaping you into something valuable, unshakable, and unstoppable. If you've ever felt tested, overlooked, or pushed to your limits, this podcast will help you rise, reset, and reorganize your worth, right? And recognize your worth on top of that. Um, in a minute, I'm going to have my guest come on. And once my guest comes on, you guys are in for a treat. We'll go over who she is and everything like that once she comes on. But because diamonds aren't born, they're made under pressure. I think you should tune in and you'll definitely be blessed by this. All right, so we're going to start off, you guys. I'm doing a little checks and making sure everything's okay so that by the time my guest comes on here, we won't have any interruptions. I'm hoping and I'm praying, right? All right, so sit still just for a moment, you guys. Comment so that my background checkers can check and make sure everything's going on. We should be streaming from Instagram, Instagram, and Facebook. So if you'll put a diamond in the comments for me, and that way we can, before my guests come on, make sure everything's working as far as the comments, because once she starts answering questions and talking, I'm sure you guys are going to have some questions for her. So if you'll do that, that would be great. I'm also going to try to check things on my end, so just bear with us for a little bit. This is my first episode of my podcast, Pressure to Diamonds, so don't go too hard on me. All right, let me check a couple of things here. And my sound techs, they're working in the background for me, and they're going to be letting me know what's going on. But if you guys will just place a comment, that would definitely be helpful. And I'm also going to probably need one of you to tell me if you see some questions, if you would, sound checkers, because I can't literally see the comments for some reason over here. So we'll have somebody definitely telling me if you guys are commenting, and we'll go from there. But welcome, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to start off. I want you guys to just sit back, relax, get ready to enjoy yourself as my guest finds her way to the screen. It is now 3 o'clock, so I'm sure she's trying to get logged in. So just bear with us. The first thing I want to do, you guys, is definitely, again, introduce myself. I am her, Cenequa Nikkole. And I just want you guys to sit back, relax, clear your mind, and just flow with me as I play this song. Okay, can we do that? Just clear your minds. I'm hearing that we're good on YouTube, so that's a plus. Just clear your mind, sit back, relax, and clear your mind. All right, I'm seeing that our guest is coming on. Let me get her on the screen. Get her in the room. Bear with me as I do that. Okay, I see a comment, so we're good on that. Y'all bear with me. I'm trying to get the guests to be able to appear. I might have to have my tech person come help me. Okay, here it is. There we go. I'm seeing her now, adding her to the stage. Hello. Thank you for showing up. How are you? Right now, I just am playing a little intro and letting people just clear their minds so that way we can then begin. But thank you so much for coming on today, and we'll get you introduced and go from there in just a moment.
My
Right now, we're
pleasure.
just clearing our minds and focusing on being able to be a part of this podcast, and I'm so excited. All right. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being in the building. We have our special guest on here today, and I am so excited, you guys, that she is here. I want to welcome Gwendolyn she will introduce herself, and then we'll go from there. I have some questions that I'm going to present to you, Gwendolyn, and we're just going to have an amazing time. And hopefully, as people tune in, they will be able to put questions in the chat. I do have my sound tech in the background. He's going to be telling me if he sees any amazing questions, and hopefully we can grab a couple of the questions out the comments. So we'll do our best. This is my first moment of this podcast, Pressure to Diamond. So y'all don't go too hard on me, okay? We're working through some of the things that we may have to work through, but we're going to get through this gracefully and amazingly. All right, if you would, Gwendolyn, introduce yourself, your name, and whatever you would like to tell people about yourself.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Minister Gwendolyn Searles, your spiritual makeup artist. And I don't fix faces, I frame futures, helping women to love themselves, applying the word of God through spiritual makeup tools and metaphors.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Y'all, I got so excited and talking to the conversation that we had about this. I got so excited. I was like, I have to bring you on my podcast and get you to explain a little more of this and definitely go in depth with this because I got excited about what she does. It's unique. I've never heard of anyone doing this before. And I know I love makeup, y'all, right? So I was thinking makeup, 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 makeup. But as she began to apply the various makeups to spirit, being spiritual with it and fixing yourself from the inside out, it was a no-brainer. I had to have her on here. So Gwendolyn, I have some questions, if it's okay, that I would like to ask, so that way people could get to know a little bit more about what you do and experience you a little bit more. I do want to say before we get started, you guys, um, once you get to hearing her and everything like that, I'm also going to ask her now to give you a website or a way to get in contact with her. But I also, at the end of this, will put it in the chat so that way you can follow up if, in case you don't get it. And we may say it again throughout this live, okay? But Gwendolyn, if you'll let them know how to get in touch with you if they needed to get in touch with
PoeticCosmetics.org.
you. Awesome, awesome. Awesome. All right, so let's get straight into it. I have quite a few questions that I think will give people a more generalization of what it is you do and what your brand stands for and how you put everything together. And that way they definitely can provide, use some of the services that you provide. So my first question, if you will, is you say you don't fix faces, you frame futures. What does that mean in one sentence?
What that means is I bring forth transformation through the
Awesome.
word of God. Yes.
So I like that. Y'all, that's T. That's T. I like that. All right. Second thing would be, what's one thing women try to cover up, in your opinion, with makeup that makeup can't fix?
Okay, a lot of people use concealers to cover up their unhappiness. For instance, they may not want to come home, they may not be happy with their husband or their family life. So work could be a concealer. um Comparisons, comparing yourself to others can be a concealer, because a lot of times we look at other people and we down ourselves, but what we don't get, their inner spiritual makeup, cosmetics for your soul. And when you tap into that true identity, you won't compare yourself to others or try to conceal and hide from it.
I love that. I love that. And the thing that stood out in my mind, as you said, that is not comparing yourself to others. I think that's amazing, that you have that moment where you can bring makeup and that together and be able to bring up a very valid point, especially for us women. A lot of times, get to the point where you're trying to compete and compare and things like that. So thank you for that. The third thing I would like to ask you is, what does it mean to let God be your concealer?
To let God be your concealer, you got to reveal it so you can heal it. So I have this metaphoric powder room as a place of prayer. And when you go in that powder room, you look in the mirror and you should see the reflection of God. And God will remind you, the root thing for me is identity, knowing who
Mm.
you are in Christ. He'll remind you of who you are, and he can do the real makeover. And once he gives you the real makeover, the truth about yourself, that can make a big difference and bring forth quick transformation through his word and through his love.
Awesome. That is amazing and definitely tea, if you ask me. All right. Next, I would like to ask you to finish this. Beauty isn't applied, it's.
Beauty isn't applied, it's given to you through the affirmations of God.
Well, I love it. I love it. I love it. And for those of you out there that's watching, if you have anything that you want to put in the comments, especially if any of this resonates with you, I'm asking you to just drop a diamond in the comments. If you don't see the emoji and can't drop a diamond, just type out the word diamond, right? And if you hear anything that's being said that resonates with you, type it out. Share this live with others so that way they can be as blessed as you are. Okay. All right. Next, I would like to speak about, have you speak about like healing moments. So, my next question would be, what's the most common insecurity you see in women today that you worked with?
They don't like themselves. They don't see themselves as beautiful. And again, the concealer of comparison. A lot of us look at women and say, oh, she's powerful, oh, she's this, oh, she's that, but they don't even see what God is bringing up and sparkling in their lives. And and when they do that, they're not deep down, they're not happy. And then a lot of times we can be critical of other women and judgmental of other women, but when we can really, 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 really look deep down inside of us, we can eventually see ourselves. Because what I call, we expect man's affirmations. That's the way what man has to say, and that's just the norm. But when God does something spiritually deep within, you know, seeing yourself the way he sees you, you know that, and you're confident of who you are. You see yourself beautiful because you don't get upset when somebody's doing a great job. When I see somebody doing great, I know where my lane is because God already showed me what I'm great at. And I'm not great at everything, but I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So he shows me who I am. And when I see somebody doing fashion, that's not my thing. But I know confidently through the affirmations of God, I am a spiritual makeup artist and I don't fix faces, I frame futures. And that's how he framed mine, through his love and showing me who I was. And that kept me from making a lot of mistakes in my life, knowing my true identity.
Awesome. And if you would, I was so touched. I mean, absolutely touched. I haven't stopped talking about the little bit that I know about your testimony. If you don't mind sharing whatever you want with the women here and even the men here that will view this live, anything that you feel comfortable, bear with me. Anything that you
Okay.
feel comfortable sharing, um,
Okay.
we definitely welcome that because I think your testimony is amazing.
Okay. So I grew up in a little small town called Albany, Georgia. And my first sight of trauma, I was like maybe 4 to 5 years old. And my mother tried to commit suicide. And I did know that young that she was being abused. And my stepfather would often leave her in the house for the weekend and lock her in a closet, and we weren't able to get her out even when she called our name. We feared that much. So I witnessed a lot of abuse and trauma. And as you know, history repeats itself. So I end up, first of all, when she got that divorce, my mother started dealing with mental issues. And I remember we had to move to the projects because income changed. And when I walked into that door, my mother was gone. There were no lights and no water. And I had to raise my other three siblings. And I graduated with honors and moved on. But I found myself pregnant at the age of 18. And I had to focus. I graduated with honors and I had to eventually leave my siblings and focus more on my child. And 15 years. My mother was abused for 13. I was abused for 15 years. So history repeated itself. And in 2006, I heard the word of God telling me to move to Atlanta. And I moved to Atlanta and I left a great job. You got to understand, you can have money in your pocket, but one thing I learned, there's nothing like peace. That's the most valuable thing in life. And I had
Yes.
a great job, a Fortune 500 company. I had stocks, I had all of that, but I wasn't complete. I didn't have Christ as the center. I knew him, but he wasn't the center of my life. But when I left and I moved to Atlanta, I found myself starting over, living in a shelter, homeless. And a few years later, I got in this program and I got some housing and I met this guy. I really didn't meet him. I already knew him sixth grade. Sixth grade. He was a celebrity bodyguard and
Mm.
was up in Atlanta. And we met each other and we end up going to the same church doing praise and worship together. He was already my friend, and we we married in 2012 and he passed in 2015, less than 3 years of marriage. And
Wow.
I was like, Lord, what are you doing? I leave this abusive relationship and I meet the love of my life. And he helped show me my beauty, my spiritual beauty. He
Mhm.
helped me to find out the talents I had. I didn't think I was good at anything because my abuser always called me stupid. He
Well, you guys, we'll have her come back on in a minute. I'm sorry that that's happening. Um, hopefully, her internet will allow her to come back in. That story is amazing. I really, once I heard her story, the pieces and parts that I had, I actually would definitely save some of it for this. So some of these moments I'm hearing for the first time right along with you guys. But she's such an amazing lady. I haven't known her long, but that which I have come to know about her, I really, really cherish. And I'm just so glad that she would even allow me to bring her on my live. But until she's able to come back on, you guys, and here she comes. Let me bring her back on. Glad she was able to get back in. Hold on, y'all. Again, sorry that happened. Let me get this back. Hold on, y'all, because I gotta get her back in here. Okay, there we go.
Yes, so I'm sorry
Uh,
about that.
no
But
problem.
But yes, I moved to Atlanta and my husband showed me all the inner beauty in me. And together we got ordained as ministers. So we started feeding the homeless, and then we went from that to conferences and we did some great things. But he passed away and he showed my children and my sons how a wife should be treated. He showed my daughter what she should see in a man, what qualities a real man has. But he was that angel that left early, gone too soon. And when he left, I'm like, Lord, why is this happening? And I was about to lose my home, and I was going through financial trouble. And during that time, God told me to, at noon every day, to go around my house and pray. And for 30 days, I did just that. Went around my house and I prayed. And that 30th day, I was expecting that my house would be saved, but it wasn't. For those 30 days, there was a young lady. She was a foreign lady, and she was jogging every day, watching me, looking at me like I was just crazy. And I was praising God every day, every day. And on that 30th day, she passed by me. She walked past the house, and she made a U-turn and ran into my yard and hugged me like I was her mother. And she said, I know your prayer will come through for me. So that's where my women's ministry started. And we lost that house, and I moved into basically the projects, an impoverished community. And God started showing me who I was. He started teaching me to be sensitive to the needs of others. And then he told me I was no longer Dinah. Dinah was the silenced one who was molested and abused, raped. He said, You are now Deborah. He gave me a strong, powerful voice in that community. And just like Deborah sat by a palm tree, my front porch was the palm tree. There were women sending their children with empty bowls. And I would have to pour cereal and milk in them because they had nowhere to eat. They didn't have food. So I was the Deborah of that community. I was like, she was the mother of Israel. I was the mother of that community. And I was the solution. I resolved conflicts with young ladies that had problems. They were arguing. I even paid some of their light bills because you had to keep your lights on to live in the projects. And from there, Deborah was a writer. She wrote songs of victory. I started writing books, and I came up with the literacy program called We Are Lit. And that was a way that families came into the gym in that community, and a lot of them didn't have food, so they ate dinner with me while we taught literacy to the kids. And from there, God started showing me even more. He told me I was a spiritual makeup artist, and I'm like, okay, spiritual makeup artist. When God gives me a word, or if I believe it's God giving me a word, I always apply it to the word of God. When you hear something, always make sure it's scripturally sound. And God is a God that does makeovers, right? And in the
Yes.
beginning, he created the heavens and the earth. And then he made colors for the trees, and then he gave the sky color. He did all those things. So that was showing me if he can make us over, why can he not be the master spiritual makeup artist? So he didn't give me something traditional that everybody else was doing. He gave me affirmations. You are a spiritual makeup artist. And what I started doing was applying that with the word, and even the women of the Bible. I have a book called Women of the Bible and Their Makeup Kits. So I know about the good women of the Bible and the bad women of the Bible. What was missing in their makeup kit, and the women of God today, like Hannah. She prayed fervently, and basically a prophet was born. She spoke lips of legacy, and that was the lipstick. And God started giving me more and more makeup tools. And here I am today. I came up with Make Up Your Mind in the powder room. And the powder room was my place of prayer. And it starts, the powder room is a place of peace where prayers are answered and faith is increased. I have spots and blemishes all over my face. So off I go to the secret place. He's coming for a church without a spot or wrinkle or blemish. And he wants to present us faultless before his throne. So that's what I do. I don't fix faces, I frame futures.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your testimony with me. I'm gonna take a moment and see because it looks like I have comments, but I can't see them on the screen that I'm looking at. So let me see if I can pull up and see if we have any questions or comments. I definitely want to include our viewers into this moment. So bear with me as I check into that. But your testimony, like I said, was so amazing to me. I said it was a no-brainer. I had to bring you on here, so that way people could definitely be able to experience what I got the honors to experience. So bear with me. Uh, trying to, and thank you all for your patience. I just want to make sure I can get a couple of questions if I can. But I have my sound text. I think they're coming to tell me. Do you see any questions? No questions. There's something on here that I'm seeing. I don't know if that is Facebook or not or Instagram. So bear with me, y'all. Okay, here they are. I don't know if I can see that. See right here, some comments, and I can't see them. And y'all forgive me. Like I said, this is my first moment of this Pressure to Diamond podcast. And as we continue on, we'll grow and get stronger, and I'll be able to. I see one comment is good, but I can't see who is by. That's by you. Okay, and what platform was that on? Because that's where the comments are showing. What? YouTube. Okay, so if you'll go to YouTube, I see another comment that I would like to acknowledge. If you aren't able to comment, I know maybe perhaps you may not be able to comment on Facebook. Um, if not, what you can do if you want to come on the screen and ask your question, you can definitely do that. I'm gonna try to put the see if I could put the link in the comments as we go along. All right, so now I'm able to see the questions here. So let me see something. All right, can you make it bigger? I can read that. But definitely, this is definitely a lot of blessings that you are bestowing on us by even sharing your testimony and going over the work that you do. While they're getting the comments for me to be able to hopefully see, I would like to ask another question. What is one lie women believe about themselves that you're here to break?
They are not enough. Through experiences of dating men that don't see their worth,
Mm,
again, the spirit of comparison is deception. Um, and the enemy will try to tell you all these things you are not enough, but you are more than enough. Everything in Genesis, it says everything that God created was good. So you have to be enough. You are more than enough. You are everything that God has purpose on this earth. You are even things that you don't even know you are yet. When I was a child, I didn't have a voice, and I was always talked about. I was always told I wasn't smart by my step parents, my stepdad's family. I was told I would never be anything.
mm,
I was even told by my mother one time that she should have aborted me, but I am enough. The God told me that all those things was a lie from the pits of hell. And I'm
mm.
telling you the same thing. We're gonna break that today. You are enough. You serve a God who is more than enough. And if we're made in his image and likeness, why can't we be more than enough?
Yeah. That's amazing. I see the couple of comments y'all had to put my glasses on to be able to see them. Um, I see at Ella Dog 2024. She said this was amazing. Keep doing what you do. So thank you so much for
Thank you.
that. I also see at Christine Kemp 1975. Love what you and Minister Gwen are sharing. What scriptures are what scriptures or women in the Bible might Minister Gwen recommend for women seeking confidence in God? So I'll read that
Okay.
again. They want to know what scriptures or women in the Bible, Gwen, would you recommend for women seeking confidence in God?
One thing that pulled me out of the lowest, deepest dirt that I was in was God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. So I serve a God of refunds and exchanges.
Mm,
He'll his strength is made perfect. You can receive his perfected strength, and he will do exceedingly abundantly and above all that you can ask or think. Those things happen in my life because I knew who I was as Arthur Burke's wife, but I didn't know who I was as an individual. And that's what got me out of a lot of depression, a lot of identity crisis. His strength is made perfect. That means he'll give you the strength to do anything that you have to face, and it'll
Yeah.
help you become who he's created you to be.
Awesome. Awesome. And what is your one of the women in the Bible? When we were talking on the phone, you really amazed me. It was one I believe you shared with me. I want to say she had something to do with makeup. I'm not sure, but if you could share that little moment or whatever moment you could share in that aspect, it was amazing to me to hear you bring all that to life.
Okay, well, one is Deborah. He told me I'm no longer Dinah. I'm now Deborah. When I didn't even know who Dinah was at the time. We know the big people in the Bible, but we don't know those little people that have maybe two scriptures to it. And Dinah was Leah's daughter, which we read in the Bible that Leah had an eye condition. And what that was one of the first lessons God taught me. I was like Leah. I was overlooking, always trying to be accepted. And people look at the lashes of your past or give you backlashes. And every time Leah had a baby, she was trying to please God. So those lashes represented a lot of things. And we try to put pieces together ourselves to make our husband happy that don't love us or be accepted by people. But every time she had that baby, she was trying to put lashes together. And when she had the child Judah, she said, "This time I will praise the Lord." So when she said that, things changed for her. And
Mm,
God glued the lashes, and the GLUE stands for God loves us with an everlasting love. And the second woman of the Bible is Esther. We know that Esther, if you read the Bible, Esther went through a year of preparation. And God had to put me in isolation after my husband passed. He put me in that impoverished community. And God was doing just as he was doing Esther, preparing her because God, I was already called. But what I had to realize through him working on me as Esther, I wasn't completed. I was called, but I wasn't completed.
mm,
So there was times that I was overlooked, that nobody heard me because of where I lived. They looked at where I lived and felt like I wasn't anything. But God put me in his beauty chair. He put me in there just like Esther said. Esther had to deal with spa treatments and oils and all that kind of stuff before she even became who she was. So
mm,
God had me hidden in the scenes. And people, I was going through so much, people thought that my walk with God was weak when I was going before his face every day. So people will see you the way they see you, but God will bring you in time that people can see your fruit. So now the ones that talked about me is seeing the fruit of what I was going through at the time. It wasn't punishment. He was polishing me so my testimony could be published.
mm. Yes, that's beautiful and amazing. Definitely today you are helping us understand that makeup, regular makeup, can hide scars, as you said, and blemishes and things like that, but it can't necessarily hide brokenness. So thank you for definitely incorporating the women in the Bible along with your testimony. That is so amazing to me. Um, the next question I have is, what's one sign a woman is struggling with self worth? What's one sign that you could recognize right off when you're dealing with the women that you deal with that they're struggling with self worth?
Well, dealing with, because I work with high school kids, I get them ready for prom. We provide them with free prom attire, hair, and makeup services. And the first sign I seen in the room, I always read the room. There are women that can't even look up and talk, and that's one sign. But another concealer that I see with women is when they're criticizing other women. You criticize other women because you don't even know who you are. You don't even know your self worth. And when a woman uh takes to go out on faith with and courage to come to the platform they're called to do. We want to criticize them. You criticize it because it's something about you don't like. When you're confident in who you are, most people, when you're about business, we don't have time to look at people's flaws and what's going on with them. Unless I'm in a session, I don't have time to look at that stuff. I'm so busy doing what God has called me to do. I don't have time to talk about a woman necklace not matching her dress, or um oh, she don't have her makeup layered right. I look in the spiritual realm, and when I see those kind of things, I don't talk about it, I pray about it.
Awesome. I love it. Finish this sentence. A woman becomes powerful when she.
Is confident in who she is. And when she's confident in who she is, she's she's comfortable. She's at peace with God.
Awesome. I love it. Um, in your opinion, what's one mindset shift that changes everything for a woman?
One mindset shift, and a spiritual awakening, when you look and realize the things people are saying about me don't even bother me. It used to be a time I would cry every time somebody would say something about me. But a spiritual awakening really lets you look at yourself deep within. And I often tell people transformation is like this. Transformation is like losing weight. You can lose weight all day. You can lose weight every week, but you can gain those same pounds back the next week. But when you are transformed, there's no turning back. You will lose that weight. You don't go back to what you was, to gaining those 10 pounds back. You come up with a strong regimen that you will never gain the weight back. And that's the way it is with Christ. When you're transformed, you can't keep turning back to addiction. You can't keep going back to overeating. You can't keep going back to those things, because when God transforms you, you put it in practice as a discipline every day.
Awesome. That's amazing. I just wanted to add for the viewers and things like that. With me, being a life coach, I definitely can appreciate you being a spiritual makeup artist. I think that is amazing. And I know when I have dealt with various people that I've life coached or whatever the case may be, the biggest thing and the biggest hurdle I have to address with them first is to get them to comfortably be able to look in the mirror at themselves and see themselves past the makeup, past filters, and past validation, meaning no applause, nobody around, just you facing who you are in that mirror. Um, and I know we talked a little bit about that. If you would share what you have as far as the things that you do with women when it comes to mirrors, what you do with women.
Okay, we give mirror moments, but before we do that, I put up a mannequin, and I ask people to write their problem areas, just like I'm a real makeup artist. I'm not a makeup artist that happens to be a Christian. I'm a spiritual makeup artist. So when they do that, I have them write down their problem areas, and then I give them lashes, and I have them cut them. And when they have to singularly lay them out and identify each lash that they're dealing with, or backlash, or lashes of their past, and then I let them look in the mirror as I welcome them in the powder room, and they transform through the washing of the word. Because the thing about it is, you still can't hide. You got to reveal it. The washing of the word. When that face is really washed spiritually, and the woman looked in the mirror and they sometimes see their 5-year-old self, their 13-year-old self, their promiscuous self, and they cry. The tears start to fall, and that's the beginning of the washing of the word. That's the beginning of Jesus being the living water, ready to cleanse them and to present them faultless. And know that the concealer is not to just totally hide you. God
Mm.
gives you grace to get it together. When he
Wow.
showed me things about me, you've been shacking up. You've been, you haven't been doing your mouth. You got to clean that mouth. You cuss every other word. When I saw that, he showed me that into the powder room. I had to make changes, and I didn't like what I saw.
Mm,
So the washing of the word through his word cleansed me. So he don't totally just, you can hide in him, but he's going to eventually say, you got to get this right.
yes.
So that's
Yes.
how you're covered. And when the time is right for him to bring you out, just like Joseph, just like David, I'm sorry, just like David out there in the field, he's going to do that. And you're going to come cleansed. You're going to come become purified and beautified.
Wow, amazing. Thank you for that. That is definitely, absolutely 100% true. Next, what does God say about you that you had to learn to believe yourself?
What God has to say about me, he told me that many are called, few are chosen. And I chose you to do something that nobody else has ever done. And when you're chosen to do something that nobody else has ever done, you're going to often question yourself, God, is this really you calling? But when he shows you through the affirmations, that's why I say, if I went by a man's affirmation, they could say, you're an evangelist, you're a teacher, you're this, you're that, you're a beautiful person. But when God calls you by name, and he has something that nobody else has ever done, he's perfecting those things concerning you. And that's what he was doing for me. He was pulling me out, saying that I've called you to do this, and I chose you to do this before the foundations of the world, because I already knew you. I knew that every chapter of your life, widowhood, molestation, rape,
Mm,
abuse, all things work together for my good. And that's who you are today, the spiritual makeup artist who I created.
mm. I love it. Yes. Finish this for me, Gwendolyn, if you will. When God is your foundation, you don't.
When God is your foundation, you won't crack and you won't fall, because he is a firm foundation. He will keep your feet from falling. And the thing about going into the powder room, it's a spiritual place of prayer. He'll show you where your slip is hanging. Sometimes, God tells me to do things, and sometimes you can be overconfident, and God will be like, Gwen, tone it down a little bit. You got to remember, I created this platform for you. It's not about you. It's not about yourselves. This is the word of God, not my philosophy. It's not about yourselves. It is the gift of God. And I created this gift for you. So you got to keep an essence of humility when you come before people. You got to show my glory. This is not about your glory. This is my ministry. This is what I called you to do. You just have to be the light through the darkness.
Mm, amazing. I love that. Um, Another thing I wanted to ask you is, what are the lashes of your past in simple terms?
The lashes of your past. People, especially family, y'all, and even the church, I hate to say it, people will hold you to your past. I remember being a teenage mother, and I was so active in the church. I was the president of this, president of that, secretary of Sunday school, president of the choir, president of the junior mission. And at 18, I got pregnant, and I was juicy gossip because I was so active in the church, and I was going before people, and I was speaking at youth events and all this stuff. And people wanted to kind of see something bad about me. I went to the military, found out I was pregnant, and I had to come home with my head down,
Wow.
but God had to show me some things, just like Rahab. He had to refocus me, and people were looking down at me. They didn't even want me talking to their children. But God gave me a new makeover, and he had me to forgive those people in the church. I had left the church for a minute, but he told me I had to come back to him. And that's what he'll do. He called his people back, and his sheep hear his voice, and a stranger they will not follow. And I thank God that he was calling me. He will leave the 99 to come back after the one. And I thank God I was one of the ones he came back for.
I love that. With all that you went over with us and everything like that, using the make up your mind portion of what you do. Um, if you'll answer this, what's one thing women need to stop applying in their life?
Lies, lies that they're being told, and lies that they're covering up. I often tell people, some people say, you just tell too much about yourself. But the
Mm,
word says that not only am I overcome by the blood of the Lamb, but the words of my testimony. And the more I tell it, the more I'm free. Not
mm,
only am I free, I'm free indeed. So we
mm,
got to stop telling ourselves the lies that we don't need help, that we're not enough. We listen to the lies of the enemy and we lie to ourselves. And
yeah.
and the concealers, we have to stop the concealers. Sometimes we eat to make ourselves happy.
Mm,
And me, I used to work a lot of overtime because I didn't want to be at home. I didn't want to be beat on. I didn't want to be talked down to. So I lied to myself. I got to get this overtime. I want to make this money, but deep down I just didn't want to be at home. When we can get to the root of that stuff, just like pimples and blotches in our face, when we get to the root of that, God can take care of the rest.
yeah.
He'll present you faultless before his throne.
Amazing, amazing. And I apologize, you guys, as far as the comments and things like that. I'm going to do my best if I can get the comments read. But next time we'll have this worked out. But what we can do, if I don't get to the comments and we don't get to answer your comments or whatever, I'll ask Gwendolyn, to just review this back on whatever platform you can review it back, and you can chime in and answer through their comments that way if you'll do that, and that way we won't leave anybody out. But next time we'll have this together, you guys. But I just feel it's more important right now to just get the message out there and get out what she does, because it's amazing on what she does. And hopefully you guys could take a part. Actually, before this live is over, we'll make sure she gives her website again, and I also will pin it in the different segments of the live on the various platforms myself, for you guys to be able to follow up with her. Um, Another thing I would like for you to do, if you would, Gwendolyn, at this moment, is finish this. You are not broken. You are
Beautiful. You are
beautiful.
not broken, you are beautiful. And I'm a writer, so I love alliteration. But you are not broken, you are beautiful. God did not make any junk. And God has so many affirmations. And I know you've never heard of that word, but that's what he gave me as a spiritual makeup artist. He said, this is about me talking to you. This isn't about what man is saying to you or what man thinks about you. It's what I think about you. And you are beautiful. There's beauty in your brokenness. And all of my brokenness made books. Pat on the Mac, and there's acronyms for that. And make up your mind in the powder room. There are spiritual devotionals in the journal of how I made up my mind, and it's basically designed mostly for young people making up their mind, and women of the Bible and their makeup kits. He showed me the beauty in these women of the Bible, and he showed me the brokenness and the lies. Athaliah, Delilah, the women who did not have the proper makeup kits, what
Mm,
not to do. So there's beauty in your brokenness. Don't ever think God was punishing you, because everything I went through now, I'm so happy I can tell it to everybody. My testimony has been being published for years. And
mm,
now people know if she went through it, I can get through it.
awesome.
So you
Awesome.
are beautiful, and never forget that.
Awesome. That is so amazing. The last thing I would like to ask, the last question, is if you could and if you would speak directly to the women that may be watching this both now and if it's shared or in the future they may run across this. So if you'll speak directly to the women watching who feels like they are not enough, what would you say to them?
You need to tap in the love of God. Love covers a multitude of sin. It's the ultimate foundation. It's the ultimate spiritual makeup regimen. It's even a cleanser. It's even a facial. When you realize that His love sees beyond your faults. His love sees beyond your flaws. His love looks beyond your wrinkles, your age, your gender, your status in life. Um, when I looked at where I came from, I was poor and broken, and he doesn't see status. He sees what man doesn't see. We see people, we pass by somebody on the ground, but we don't see the beauty in them. We don't see what God sees in them. A lot of people that are homeless have awesome talents. I know why? Because I sit there and I talk to them. That's what Jesus did. Jesus turned back and went after the one. He wanted to know, talk and get a conversation. A woman at the well. He did all of that. And and when he can reveal all of that to you, there's no stopping you.
Amazing. That is so amazing. And thank you so much for sharing all that you've shared with us today. If you would again provide the viewers with your website where they can reach out and contact you and learn more of um, what you actually do on an everyday basis to help women and men, because you help men too. I want men to understand that too. Just take us out with you, tell them what you do as far as the men go as well, and provide them your website and anything else that you would want them to know about what it is that your services provide.
Okay, first of all, my website is poetic cosmetics.org. And I want to begin with the revelation God gave me from the beginning of all of this. He had me to do a research. And do you know that 85% of people in United States deal with low self-esteem?
Wow.
I started with Make Up Your Mind, but he came back to me and he said, I said 85% of the
Mhm.
United States deals with low self-esteem. So that's not just women, that's men.
Wow.
And I was asking God, what can I do to help men? Because I'm not a male basher. I love people. I have sons. I have an awesome husband who God restored me with a new husband through all of this. So when you stay on purpose, you'll land on destiny.
Mhm.
And it's all about being obedient to the word of God, walking in your purpose. So I have an awesome husband who supports me in everything that I do. So when I start praying about this, how can I help men? He gave me the word line up your mind, and he gave me barbershop tools on how to help men love themselves from the inside out. And I'm gonna get ready to start doing some line up your mind workshop. He gave me metaphors of widow's peak, the different hairstyles, that the haircuts that men get. And there's a ministry with a fadeaway. There's a ministry with a fadeaway. There's a man in the Bible that ministers the fadeaway. All kinds of types, the arch, um, uh, widow's peak, all kinds of haircuts, the shape up. There are just different things that he gave me, and it's so amazing because I can't do this within myself. It's all glory to God. It's amazing that he picked me to write these things, and I have a few mail books coming out soon after my makeup songs, so that will be coming out soon. But I definitely will be using this in high schools to encourage the young men, um, because I notice things when we get them ready. We get the young ladies and men ready for proms. We provide everything free. The guys are more excited than the girls.
Wow.
You would think the girls would be more excited, but the guys are really excited to see themselves in a suit. And they sit there and they take all these selfies and they just love it. So I realized men need the same thing. And especially our young boys,
Mhm.
our babies. And that's what I'm doing, bringing the confidence in them now. Because when you know the deep root identity of who you are, you're going to say, I'm better than that. I'm not going to stoop down and have these babies early because God has a plan for my life. I wish I had that when I was a child. I wish I had a class like Make Up Your Mind. I wish I had that. There's no telling where I would be. But I thank God for the mess. He turned my mess into a message.
Wow.
So I thank God for that. But poetic cosmetics.org. And you can even click on the face to faith appointment. And I have a spiritual spa lounge full of affirmations and things that God says about you. on there. We also have prayer requests that we take.
Awesome. That's amazing, Gwendolyn. You are so amazing. Again, I had to have you on here because on our phone call, I was just like blown back. You couldn't see my face, but in hearing everything that you did, I just was like thrown back. And everybody's been hearing about it from me ever since I got off. I'm like, wow, y'all have to tune in. Y'all have to hear what I heard. And I thank you so much for reaching out to me. At this moment in the live, I want to say I didn't know you. I just met you and you didn't know me. But I'm so thankful that two crowns, is what I like to say, was able to come together and be able to make this moment. And I want to say for the women that's watching, it's important that we do all the things that Gwendolyn went over with us, and that's heal from the inside out. But also, when she began to speak about the competition that goes along with a lot of moments within women and things like that, it's more important that we understand we're stronger and better when we collab together, do collaborations together. And this is what this became, a collaboration. Um, and I'm just encouraging every woman under the sound of my voice to help each other not only straighten your crown, but encourage each other to wear your crown in the best manner you can. And when you do those things, things like this become possible. Healing journeys. What she went through, I may not have went through, but I may have had some things that I went through that she hasn't went through. But when we begin to share our stories with each other, that's where the healing takes place. And when we stop losing the moments of just worrying about if somebody else's business is going to overshadow your business, if you have them on or whatever the case may be, there's room for everybody. There's room for everybody to grow. There's room for everybody to tell their testimony, because that's what it is. Even if you don't believe, like she believes or like I believe or whatever the case may be, your life is a living testimony. It really is. It's the things that you went through. It's the things that you're going through. They can inspire others. Just seeing that you survived something, that you're a survivor, whatever you survived or whatever the case may be, and hearing her story, it is so amazing. So hopefully, if you're just tuning in, you could play it back and hear her testimony, and not just to listen to her testimony, but to be encouraged if you have any of those moments or anything similar or anything opposite of what she said. Just know that, like she's sitting here today, a healed version of herself, you too can become healed and be a healed version of yourself. Reaching out to her is an amazing opportunity for you. She gave you her website. Look into that website and look, because when I went there, I even say, as healed as I feel I am, when I looked at her website, I started appreciating how I've grown and where I am in my healing journey. But I also began to see moments where I could improve. So definitely take that moment to go to our website and check into that. Women, we need each other. We really do. Don't be so quick to get to the point, like she said, that you start uncovering everybody. Oh, she got a mark. Oh, her hair ain't long enough, or whatever you find. Just know that you might have seen that for a reason. And it's not to talk about the person or to downgrade them or to pull them down, but maybe to become the encouragement that they need. If you know better, do better, is what I always like to say. And something I took from the older generation that used to always say it when we were little. They used to say, if you know better, do better. And that's so important. If you know better, do better. If you don't know, sometimes you can just be quiet. And that's okay too. But I certainly appreciate you coming on this podcast with me again. You're my first guest on my Pressure to Diamonds. So I definitely appreciate you. This goes down in history for us both. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Anything I can do to definitely, I'll continue to share your information with people, because I think it's really needed. And I'm really touched that you don't just stop at the women, but you also have things up and coming and intact for the men. So men, look on her website and see what she offers for you as well. And just be encouraged. Everybody under the sound of my voice, be encouraged. We are living in times right now that we are finding out more and more, the people that thought they didn't need anybody but themselves, we're finding out that you need others. We do. We need each other. And the most perfect thing I always say that we could learn to do and learn from what she went over with us is to take care of God's creation. That's very important. Some of us think that's through flowers and plants. No, I'm talking about human beings. Let's take care of each other, because we were all brought here for a purpose, on purpose. So that's
Mm.
important. But I want to allow our guests to say any final words that she may have, and then we'll let her go, and then I'll wrap up with you guys, because I am going to request that anybody under the sound of my voice, I'm going to give you the way that if you want to come on my future podcast on how you can do that. But Gwendolyn, take us away with any final words that you might have to say.
Yes, so I want to tell you, and I know this may sound like a cliche, but trust the process.
That's the
And
process.
you gotta trust the process. No matter, everything is not like what you see with your natural eye. The things of God is eternal. The things of this world is temporal. It's temporary. But everything and what you do for Christ will last. And
Mm,
that's what I want to do, leave a legacy for not just my children, but future generations to come. I All things work together for my good. Every chapter of my life work together for my good, and it'll do the same just for you.
wow, that's amazing. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I really, really appreciate you reaching out the way that you did and connecting with me. I just feel like it was purpose and on purpose. So I really appreciate it. I look forward to continuing to watch your journey and support it in any manner that I can. Like I said, I'll continue to share on my page as I see that you're doing things and uh, have moments of workshops and things like that. I'll share it on my page. And that way, anyone that's watching, follow her, please. If you would tell them your Facebook page or whatever pages that you have out there that they can follow you on social media.
Okay, it's Gwendolyn Wynell, Wynelle, Searles, Searls, like pearls. Gwendolyn Wynell Searles, and I do have a poetic cosmetic page as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks again for being here. I appreciate you. I'm going to continue, you guys, just for a few moments to be on here. I want to encourage anybody under the sound of my voice, if you have anything that you would like to connect or collab with me on coming on my podcast, just inbox me on any other platforms that you're witnessing today. I'll take a look at it. I'm only going to do my podcast once a month because I want them to really be meaningful and impactful. And I want to make sure that I take the time to bring on the right people that will definitely be of service and meet the needs of people. And I just feel like with women, I'm really looking forward to collabing and having some women come on. I want the women that can't get along on my podcast because I feel like I could definitely close the sore, right, and heal those wounds. As I scroll, I'm seeing it, I'm feeling it, and I'm not upset about it. But I feel it's necessary for us to meet at what I call a round table and do something about it because, again, we are more solid and better if we just learn to heal from the inside out and then be able to connect with each other through that healing journey and then help others heal. Don't stay upset, mad, because that doesn't do anything but affect your health. And if I could be any part in you guys being able to get to the place where you need to be, I'm more than open for you to inbox me and we'll figure it out together. Figure it out. Other than that, if you have anything amazing that you do and you want to come on my podcast and share that with us, I'm open to that as well. So just inbox me. Any ideas or anything that you have that you want to bring to this platform, Pressure to Diamonds, I'm open to it. Just inbox me. Other than that, you guys, again, our guest is so amazing. And I'll continue to post on my social platforms information that you'll be able to get in touch with her or whatever. And continue to put your comments in the comment because I'm sure she'll be able to look back at this and reflect and see your comments and answer them. At that time, again, I apologize that we couldn't do that on this particular segment of my podcast, but in the future, we'll work through all of that. All right. Other than that, you guys, you have experienced Pressure to Diamonds, which is a podcast by myself, Cenequa Nikkole, hosted by myself, where I like to definitely take struggles and turn them into strength, purpose into power. That's where I really sit and what resonates with me. I don't know how many of you follow me on my social platforms, but I try to put positive things on there, and just real life experiences. I'm human. I go through things. I'm not perfect, um, but I am a woman that has been through a lot, experienced a lot, and healed a lot. And I'm so happy for the journey that I'm on and the journey that we'll go on together. I would like to leave you guys with something that definitely healed me, and that was my moment in the mirror, right? My moment in the mirror. And that's why when I found out that she does segments with mirrors, it just really blew my mind. It used to be real hard for me to look in the mirror, because I didn't see what other people said about me, right? To be honest with you, my whole life, I've heard the word, oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, you're so beautiful. And for me, it always hit me different than it probably what it was doing for the person that said it to me, because I didn't believe that, first of all, about myself, because I had so many things that was inwardly affecting me. And I wasn't healed on the inside, but I was constantly, like she said, like Gwendolyn said, dressing up my outside. And it wasn't until I remember, it wasn't long ago, maybe about a year or so ago, I looked in the mirror. I, became this great life coach, is what I want to say, great style coach and everything like that. And I began helping others and getting them what I thought is putting their life, getting them to be able to live their best life, right? And I'm providing those services. And the more I sat with and helped people, other people, I realized I wasn't healed, but I was helping other people heal. And that started bothering me. And they started, I guess, to like show through my actions and things like that. I was still doing my job and helping people and stuff like that, because that's who I am as a person. But I found myself paying attention to what I was seeing in the mirror. When I was looking in the mirror, I would see my blemishes, I would see my flaws, but it would go past that. I start having like flashbacks of things I went through that I've never dealt with. Just thought I'm okay. I went on with life. You get degrees and you've been in so many other rooms with people and stuff like that, and helped so many other people that you start believing that you're okay. And that was the person that I had to meet in the mirror, that I wasn't okay. And so upon that, I like to say that God gave me my healing, through me being able to write songs, and heal that way. Because I've been writing songs probably since I was probably 5 years old. I don't know. But I've always been the person that journaled and wrote songs and things like that, and sung them to myself. My mom could tell you I used to sing out the window and get on everybody's nerves. Whoever walking down the street would hear me sing. Whoever was in my house would hear me sing. But I've always sung my pain or my happiness. I always wrote it down. So with that being said, it was a song, that I wrote, about taking a moment to take care of the person that you see in the mirror every day. And that definitely set me on a healing journey. Because what I realized through getting, I call it professional help, because I couldn't help myself at the time. I was praying about it and, doing the best I could. But because I'm such a private person, when it comes to me and what I go through, I found it necessary to reach out to somebody that didn't know me, which some might say like a counselor or a professional in that aspect. I reached out and I began to tell, that person that I wanted to just talk and see if it's anything that they could help me with. I still didn't know how unhealed I was. Married to the greatest man in the world. Those that know me know my husband is everything to me. He's a wonderful man. We've been married for 25 years, been together for 27 years. And in doing so, I definitely didn't realize, that even though I had a wonderful husband, like Gwendolyn spoke about, I still was in my marriage broken on the inside, that I didn't realize till a couple of years ago. I wasn't giving my all, even though I've been married for 25 years. I wasn't 23 years into it giving my all, because I had suppressed so much of me and the things that I went through that I was always on alert, always on alarm, and just always feeling like I was still in my past. So, with that being said, I found myself going to these counseling sessions, and the lady asked me the most important question I think you could ask somebody. She asked me, was I ready to heal? And that's when it hit me. And I was like, I think I'm pretty good. I think I'm healed. And she said, no, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, are you ready to heal? And I answered it yes, but I still, in my mind, I thought I was good and okay. But I just, felt like maybe I need to check in on a couple of things and see. But the more she talked to me, do you know that I had years of things that I had went through? And I'll just name some of the moments. I'll say depression, being held hostage, um, just not knowing who I was and not being able to identify with exactly who I was as a person. Um, all the things, so many things, I could just name a bunch of things, but it's just so much. Those that have heard my testimony, you pretty much know, but I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time. But just like all the women out here, I went through things and experienced things, and I suppressed them. I had them just deep inside, and I thought I was okay because I was the person with the good job. I was the person that went through the military and made it through the military and retired from the military. Um, like I said, had degrees and could do hair like nobody, put makeup on like nobody, and all the things that I became good at. I thought I was good enough to just go through life and just be who I was. But it wasn't until that moment of the mirror and then sitting down with a person asking me, am I ready to heal, that I realized I wasn't the best version of myself. I wasn't. I was suppressing everything and just pushed it to the back of my mind. But as she began to pull all that out of me, I found myself on the most amazing journey, and I was excited and I wanted to heal. And I was like, oh, I'm going to heal. And before I knew it, I was like, oh, yes, we're there. Let's do this. And I want to leave you with this. This was what set me, because I'm still, on my journey to continuing to be the best version of myself. But I feel like at this moment, based upon what Gwendolyn shared with y'all, and based upon what I went through and where I'm at now in life, this is what got me there. I'm a person that lives with like the moment of parables. I don't know if everybody knows what that is, but it's like where I take things, real life moments, and I just push them over to help you understand, I guess is the best way, what I'm trying to say, right? So we'll use this parable. I had to face the fact that I had literally, through abusive marriage. This is my second marriage. My first husband, he was very abusive, extremely abusive, to the point that I felt like I had to get abusive back in order for me to even survive life. And that's a long story and a long journey. Um, and just a bunch of things. I've experienced miscarriages, two of them, and that was hard for me. So just a bunch of things have happened in my life that leave you just feeling like you got to push through it, because life won't let you just pause and stop and just go through those things constantly. You got to continue to work. You got to continue to, I say, put your game face on and continue. So that's where I did for so many years, that it got comfortable. And so that's when I thought I was healed. But can you imagine putting yourself in this moment to think this way? And this is a parable that hopefully will help you guys like it helped me. The parable that I had to put before me, and in talking to the counselor, we both helped me go through this journey of realizing that I had went on the worst vacation that I've ever been on in life, through life. And on that vacation, I expected, when I took part in that vacation, and I'm talking about a broken marriage, I'm talking about the abuse that I've experienced, being held hostage during my military service, and just a bunch of things that I've been through. I'm talking about those as vacations, right? I planned when I put my mind to it to do it, I planned on it being beautiful and wonderful in this great moment. But as I began to go through those various moments, it became the worst journey and the worst vacation that one could be on. And until I got free from it, I didn't even know how bad it was until I got home. And I'm still taking y'all like a parable. I get home and I'm like, whew, I hope I never go on any of those vacations again. And so instead of unpacking and allowing myself to heal from that bad vacation, I took that suitcase and I pushed it up under the bed and I didn't want to experience it anymore. So I left it there and I said, whew, I'll deal with that when I deal with it. And if I don't deal with it, it'll be up under the bed. Ain't nobody going to see it and nobody should worry about it because I ain't worried about it. So I literally took all my life's trials and tribulations and put them up under the bed. And then putting them up under the bed, I then turned to continue on to try to find the next best thing and the next best vacation I could go on and treat myself, in life a little better and experience a little better. And so instead of healing, I continued to just search for my Mr. Right, search for my perfect job, search for my perfect opportunity. And I found those things, right? But was I ready to experience them and literally enjoy myself on those new vacations? Absolutely not. But I thought I was. So I continue on with life. I continue achieving. And the more I achieve, the more people was telling me, oh, you got it going on. You done this and you done that. Oh, and so you really start, and I started believing I got it going on. I'm good. Bump this, bump that. Don't got to worry about that luggage that's under the bed. I don't never got to see it again. And so I continued through life. But it wasn't until a couple of years ago, like I said, and I realized that's what I had been doing, that I realized at that moment I had to get that suitcase from up under the bed. Y'all, I had to get that suitcase and pull it from up under the bed. And when I did, and I unzipped it, and I began to look through all the stuff that I took to go on that vacation and all the stuff I was left with after the vacation, you know what I realized? None of that stuff fit me anymore. None of it was any of good or any service to me anymore. So I literally had to say, what am I going to do with this? And you know what I chose to do with it? I chose to throw it away and allow myself to reset, refresh, and restart. And to appreciate the journey that I was currently on that I didn't even realize was so good because my past was hunting me so bad. But I thought because I pushed it up under the bed into the back of my mind, I was good. But ever since I started unpacking and began to just get rid of all the negative moments that I've had in life and free myself from the facts and the findings of what all I've been through, and I'm gonna literally say, give it all to God. I'm telling you right now, that's the best thing I ever did in life. And I hope that it will encourage somebody else to get rid of that old luggage that you stored in the back of your mind. It's time. It's time for you to pull that to the forefront, pray about it, get rid of it. Don't give it to nobody else. Don't give it to nobody else. Don't give them that hurt, that guilt, that shame, and all that stuff. Don't continue to put that on others, because what I wanted to say about my current marriage, when throughout life of being married to my husband now, I'm realizing, looking back, how much of what my past created and did for me, and because I never healed from it before I went fully into and was able to identify now you're in a good relationship, because I never did that moment, I realized a lot of things that I didn't do that I could have done or should have done, to heal first and then definitely bring all of me into the relationship. But nevertheless, I had a patient man that stayed with me and stuck with me, prayed with me, loved on me until I got to the point now I'm getting it right. So I just want to encourage women all over the world. I may not have said enough, I may not have said it all, or I may have said it all. Whatever the case is, I want to encourage you to be on your healing journey. Before you go pouncing into a whole nother relationship, another career, another this, another this, another this, another this, trying to just build yourself from the outward appearance, heal from the inside, because that's the best thing I've done in life is heal from the inside. How did I do that? For me, the fruit of the spirit um, became relevant to me from the within the Word of God. I say the Bible. If you need that moment, need that scripture or whatever the case may be, because I don't want to take up too much more of y'all's time, inbox me. I'll give it to you. But to learn to love, learn what peace was, learn what joy was, learn what meekness is, long suffering, and the last moment of it all, self control. Once I begin to realize to put myself on that scale and learn more and more about that and be able to present more and more of that from the inside out through living through my spirit, I can literally say I'm a better person. And it got me to here today, to being able to share with you guys and be able to even have this podcast. Because before this, if you would ask me to share anything about me, I would, no, not doing it. But I feel it's necessary for us as women to pull together and not necessarily, you don't have to tell all your business, but if you made it through and you landed on your 2 feet and you're healed from the inside out, why not share with other women that are struggling with that right now? There's so much going on in this world that, again, people need people. People need people. And the best part of life is knowing that something's wrong and that you can heal from it, right? For every problem, there's definitely a solution, but you have to be willing to be on the road to recovery. All right. I'm going to get off here, you guys, because I think I said enough. But thank you so much for tuning in again to this segment of Pressure to Diamonds. It's a transformational podcast hosted by myself, Cenequa Nikkole, where real life struggles are turned into strength, purpose, and power. This show dives into authentic conversations about growth, healing, mindsets, relationships, and becoming the best version of yourself, especially through life toughest moments. Every episode will get better and better. I promise y'all I'm gonna get things together. Whatever I couldn't do on this one, I'll look over. If there was moments where I could have reached and grabbed y'all from the comments, we'll get all that fixed. But I just want to encourage you guys to definitely tune in to my next one. I'm going to do it the third Saturday of every month because I'm only going to do one per month, unless things transpire that I need to do it more. But for now, I'm just going to do my podcast once a month, Pressure to Diamonds. All right. I'm her, Cenequa Nikkole. Thank you so much for tuning in. But before we go, what I would like for you guys to do is just sit back. I love music. I don't know about y'all, but I love music. I think it's very healing. And so, with all that we discussed today, I think we need to definitely unpack a little bit. So, what I'm going to do is just play instrumental that I have that I created. And I just want you guys to just relax. And then after it's over, I'm just going to end this segment of our live. But anything I can do to get you guys in contact with my guests, please inbox me and I'll get y'all whatever y'all needed to get the link or anything like that. I'll also try to put it on my page, mainly my Facebook page. All right. Have a great one, you guys. Let's listen to this song and just relax, unwind, and remember to live from the inside out, right? And just take time with yourself to take care of the person that you meet in the mirror every day. All right, let's go. Pressure to diamonds, y'all. That's what we're working on. Going from pressure to diamonds. May God bless you, keep you, and increase you. Now get off of here, you guys. Go live, laugh, and love. You deserve to heal.